Welcome back to Trading 360. I'm Diane King Hall. Time now for the big three stocks, three charts, three trades. Rick Ducat will take us through the charts. And here to take us through the trades, we've got Mike Shorr, Director of Trading Education, Prosper Trading Academy. Great to see both of you. All right, before we get into all of this, I want to get your thoughts on this action that we're seeing today. It feels like we've been on quite the roller coaster. Mike, what's your takeaway?
That's a good question. The takeaway that it's a roller coaster, and it feels kind of bottomy to me that we've actually seen some buyers come in here where you know what I was saying, to my traders is, wait for somebody to come in and buy it, and we've seen that, and so now we're in a bit of from a long-term standpoint, we're into bottom picking stocks, and from a day trading type of approach that we can trade it from both ways, because it certainly didn't feel that way early on in the morning, but now we're a little bit normalized.
Okay, a little bit normalized. All right, Mike, then let's talk a little bit about the first name on your list. You've got Lamb Weston in focus. Is this all about how potatoes can be protective right now?
Yeah, I was thinking, over the weekend, something that is protected. So this is an American producer. Everything is grown here. Everything is produced here and distributed here. And so I think, and they had some nice earnings. We've seen a little bit of a pullback from that. And now we're looking at that bounce where we're right there now. So I think that this is a nice one.
Okay, all right. So, Rick, let's talk about this chart for Lamb Weston. It had a good week last week, but what does the chart tell us?
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting setup, Diane, because we did have a period of some difficulties for this name here. We had an earnings event here that brought the stock down significantly, and then we trailed further downward and eventually established some new lows here around 47, or 48 rather. But look here, you can see that we had a little bit of bullish divergence in the RSI. For the most part, price held up near these old lows. We did move beyond them somewhat, but for the most part, price hung on around that level. Now you can see more recently, price broke through this downward sloping trend line that was established after our gap down. We broke above our yellow 21-day exponential moving average. We did initially push above the orange 63-day EMA, but now we've given it back up. But now the situation you look out for is a retest of the old resistance, which is our recent range highs coupled with our yellow 21-day exponential moving average. So around 54.50 or so, this seems like it could be a really interesting support area to watch. RSI also holding firm above the 50 midline, so more of a bullish lean here. Notice as well that we saw volume spike after earnings. We had strong buying showing high conviction after this significant move to the upside. We can also see, looking at our volume profile and standard deviation channel studies, right about here, volume profile point of control, area of heaviest trading comes in near 60.20, could be another consolidative point to watch here. Another node down here, 52, would line up with a retest of our old downward sloping trend line as well, Diane. So 52 and 60 would be some notable areas to watch.
Okay, notable areas to watch there. So, Mike, I'm going to send the floor back to you with regard to how you would approach a trade on Lamb Weston.
So I'm looking for that pullback to that 55.20 area. That's the 50-day simple moving average. On my longer term charts, I use simple moving averages. On my short term charts, I use EMAs. But we're just above there. And I think that we can definitely challenge those highs up in the 65 area, which would put us almost in between the 100 and 200-day moving averages.
Okay, all right. Let's take a look at your next trade. You've got Ambarella on your radar today. It's under a little bit of pressure today, but what's your thesis behind this one?
Uh, so now, going with LW before like a solid play, now I'm bottom picking for my next two. Ambarella, it got outside of my of my Bollinger Band, and we did see a recovery from that. And so, this is it's almost as a trader, you don't want to say that you're just taking a shot, but this is a little bit of a bottom picking type of play.
Okay. All right.
And they're very strong in the AI area, and I don't think that is going away.
Yeah, I mean, yes, that's fair that that's not going away, even though we're facing a difficult time period, especially when it comes to tech trades and AI trades. But Rick, what does the chart tell us when it comes to Ambarella?
Trying to choose a point where a stock has bottomed out is very difficult. It confounds even the best of us here. But what we kind of can do with technical analysis is we look at the areas where the stock has bottomed out in the past. You can see here and here, we both hit significant lows around 40.30 or so. That's roughly where we seem to be finding a foothold today here. Will it last? I don't know. I can't answer that question for you here, but I can tell you this seems to be an important price point here, an area of inflection, beyond which if we were to break lower, we could see a cascade of orders triggering a breakout, or it could be a supportive area. So we don't really, I can't make that prediction or anything, but I can tell you this seems like a notable area to watch. Now, if we were to look at our other studies that we have here, we have our moving averages trending lower here. And just a brief comment, exponential moving averages are more weighted toward the recent price action, whereas the simple moving averages we were also discussing are equally weighted here. Neither one's better or worse, they're just different. And, just to clarify that point as well, once again, seeing a little bit of bullish divergence here on our chart, showing that momentum is perhaps not performing as badly as you might expect, given the significant new low that we're seeing in price. So if we were to look at our other studies here, standard deviation channels and volume profile, we can see our point of control, our area of very heavy trading is up here near about 56. We would have to cross through our -2 channel and our -3 channel. Right down there, you can see our red channel line right there. So around 37 and 48 for those two potential boundaries here as we are near this precarious potential tipping point.
Okay, precarious tipping point. Mike, before I get to your final trade, we've got some breaking news coming in right now with regard to the tariffs. This is from Reuters. According to Reuters, President Trump says the U.S. will impose additional 50% tariffs on China effective April 9th if China does not withdraw their 34% increase. All talks reportedly with China concerning requested meetings with the U.S. will be terminated. According to Reuters, also coming from the White House, negotiations with other countries, though, will begin taking place immediately. So we are seeing stocks continue to be under pressure, under increasing pressure right now. We're looking at the S&P 500 off by 1.8% right now, down 93 points. The Dow down 914 points at the moment, off by more than 2%. Also pressure on the NASDAQ and Russell as well in relation to breaking news. According to Reuters, President Trump saying the U.S. will impose additional 50% tariffs on China effective April 9th if China does not withdraw its 34% increase. All right, Mike.
Well, that's helpful.
Yeah, that makes things certainly difficult here. I know you've been a little sarcastic there.
I'm being 100% sarcastic.
Yeah. So, how do you? Let's get to your final trade. You've got Skechers on your radar. Talk to us a little bit about your thesis here.
Same thing, just bottom picking. Again, a U.S.-based company. Of course, they do import. Well, now that you just told me that last piece of news, that I'm probably not as aggressive on Skechers, but we are seeing a 3-day low being tested and I still, I like the company. I like their products, and I think that a lot of what we're hearing is just posturing, and in the long run, it should work out for us.
Yeah, Mike, I know some people do believe that this is kind of part of the negotiation process. We'll certainly see if that is the case. But Rick, what does it look like when you take a look through the technicals for Skechers?
What a great stock to be talking about as the other shoe drops on this news. But we can see here trending downward off of our 52-week high, 78.85. We can see that it looked like perhaps we were going to push beyond this downward sloping, more bearish boundary here and even take out that yellow 21-day EMA, but it was not to be. The past few sessions, we've seen a significant breakdown below this repeated low point that we saw near 54. So now this area near 54 becomes a resistance point to watch. Old support can become new resistance, while we also must keep an eye on these recent lows. 45.69 is the intraday low to watch. Notice, once again, very heavy volume spikes during this significant drop down, and also we can see that the RSI has broken its trend line that was moving to the upside here and is once again making new relative lows into the oversold area, that threshold of 30. So if we were to look at our volume profile study here, once again, this area will be key to recapture. 54 to 56 or so. 56 is where the heavy trading activity took place. It's also where our yellow 21-day EMA lines up with that particular node. So a point to watch. Notice as well, -3 channel comes in, 47.51 here at this time.
All right, sure, Skechers right now under some pressure. Rick, thanks a ton for the breakdown on the chart. We also had Mike Shorr, Prosper Trading Academy. Thank you both.